Welcome to How I Got Here with Dreena Whitfield. Today I'm chatting with Tahira Joy Wright, founder of The Cut Life. We'll talk about her journey from entertainment PR to building one of the most impactful Black hair communities on social media.
I've always loved like building brands, but it was just doing it in a different way. And they're like, okay, what do you do? I'm like, content creator some days, influencer other days.
Thought leader, entrepreneur.
Yeah. And I'm not going into ChatGPT like, how can I talk like a Black girl? Like, no.
So Tahira, thank you so much for joining me today. I know we've tried to do this a few times and our schedules aligned. It's the perfect time, perfect place. So thank you so much for joining me.
We are here. Finally. And it's so crazy because we were just talking about this before we started.
Yep.
But seeing people on social media makes you feel like you know them in person. But this is literally our first time meeting in person.
It's wild.
Which sounds crazy to me.
Right. We got each other's cell phone number. I know about your nephew, you know.
Countless conversations and bonding. But hey, we're in real life now.
We're here.
I love it.
So let me rewind a little bit. Take me back to your journey starting The Cut Life. I read somewhere that you actually started it a week after you came up with the idea.
Oh, yes.
Talk to me a little bit about what that week was like. Was it filled with excitement? Were you overwhelmed? Like, what was that process like?
Right. So I was self-employed entrepreneur working in PR. You know the grind. We see each other in the music industry, and it just got really hectic. And I think I just needed an outlet. And so style-wise, I was wearing my hair short. And I just had this random idea, like, I'm going to get on Instagram and start a page called The Cut Life. So I reached out to my bestie, Maya Table, at the time, who's a director. Well, she's still my bestie now. I know that. She's still the bestie. But I was like, I need a logo. And she's like, okay, for The Cut Life, you're going to do an Instagram page on
she
short
wasn't
hair?
Feeling it.
I guess. You're my friend, I'm going to do it. And she tells me years later that she thought I was crazy, but obviously I had some vision there. But I think I didn't have any certain type of like expectation behind it. I wasn't thinking, oh, this is a genius, business and brand idea. It was just like, this could be a creative outlet. It could be something kind of cool, something for me to focus my attention on to kind of escape from my day to day.
So it started off as a side hustle then?
Not even a hustle. I would just say like a creative hobby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's been able to grow into this big, beauty empire.
It grew out of nowhere. I was not anticipating it, and it took about a year from me starting it to decide to leave PR completely. Once I realized, there's brands that actually want to partner with me. There's this huge interest in community that's building. I could really see like where it was going, and I made a choice to exit. Yeah.
So wait, you started when Instagram was still like you had to have like a certain sort of login to start up the platform. Did you think that it would grow to have the impact that it has today?
Not at all. I started
because you have 1.5 million followers on the Cut Life.
I don't believe it sometimes. I started in 2013 and it just snowballed. Obviously, there was a need that needed to be filled, and there were certain women that maybe didn't feel seen online that now felt seen. And so they just constantly shared it, and it just grew and grew and grew. I want to say, how long did it take for us to hit 1 million? Maybe within the first year.
What?
Definitely.
Were you posting like every day? Like, talk to me about that.
Insane amount of posting in the beginning, but I think because it was fun initially.
Because it wasn't like there wasn't like a strategy behind it. You just posting because like, that's cute.
Right. I had no experience in the beauty industry. I didn't come in with this strategy or this like plan. I had a co-founder that started off with me in the beginning. I brought the idea to her. She would help with the IG. She's now in the sports arena now, but yeah, we were just honestly having fun posting, and we'll post every day, all day. And I think maybe just having that genuine interest, it made it naturally grow, because we weren't going in like, how do we monetize this today? Or, what's the strategy behind it? It was just like, this is like a fun, cute platform. People like it. And we were just excited to see the following grow. Like, we hit 10,000. Now we're at 50. And we're like, wait, it's 100,000? Like, this is crazy. It just continued to grow and grow.
So now do you all post with strategy in mind? Or is it still an element of like, we just doing this for fun, or this is a really fly cut? Like, what's the process now?
So for me, it's a mix of both. People
Because I struggle
yes,
with social.
I understand because it can be overwhelming. I've had my moments where I wanted to check out. People may be surprised to know that I still post to the cut life of myself, especially on the Instagram, because I'm a little funny about like hacking and people stealing like passwords, and that real estate is valuable.
Yeah.
So it takes a little bit to kind of let that access go. I've done it in certain ways, but not completely. But honestly, it's still fun for me. And hair and beauty is something that I've always loved personally, but never got to work in it as a publicist. There's always a new look. There's always something to excite you, in my opinion, about beauty. So it's not really hard to organically share. But then, yes, there is a strategy as far as having a work-life balance and maintaining my peace, where it used to be like 7 days a week, we're just like posting. I'm cool if a Saturday or Sunday goes by and there's nothing on the platform, because they'll see me again on Monday. Like, they will tune back in. And even multiple times a day. Like, now it might be 2 times a day, and I'm really like curating the post, or it might be ads, that we're posting. So I'm very conscious of like the flow there. But I don't want to overwhelm myself. And I realized I didn't have to over-index when it came to the audience either. They've been rocking with us for 12 years now.
Oh, that's amazing. But that's crazy that you're still posting.
I know. People are like, are you insane? No, I plan. I've worked with different people in different capacities. I plan to bring in like a social media manager to kind of manage, especially all the other platforms that we're on, because we do have significant followings in other places like YouTube, Facebook. We're building up TikTok. Threads is actually popping for us right now, like 200,000 followers there. So yeah, trying to like grow in that capacity. But I don't know, Instagram is my baby. That's like, it's the aesthetic for me. I'm a Libra. We're very aesthetic driven. So
So when I first started with PR, I remember explaining to people it wasn't an easy sell because I didn't have formal PR experience. I didn't work in an agency. I didn't even have clients or office space. Google was legit my best friend, and I had to sell people on the vision and the plan that I had for me and my company. Do you feel like it was the same thing for you when you started the Cut Life? Did you have to like constantly sell the proof of concept to folks? Because I know you mentioned your best friend was like, what is this, girl? I'm gonna just do the logo, whatever, because it's Tahira. But like beyond that, was it like you had to sell people on the idea?
Actually, no. In those initial stages, so I would say we were around not even like 5,000 followers, definitely under there. And because of my PR background, I had a lot of relationships in various facets of the industry. So I had a friend, Kimberly Walker, who's now a writer out in Hollywood. I have to give her props.
Come on.
But back then, she was doing like copywriting, editorial, and all these things within the beauty space. And so she understood immediately what the platform was and the power that it could have with the stylist community, which I wasn't even thinking about initially. And for brands needing spaces to promote their products that weren't necessarily completely all like the natural space, because there was a loss with like the professional products lane and even like relaxers at the time, like all the things, right? And so early on, she was the first person to call me to say, hey, I'm working with this brand. I love what you're doing with the Cut Life, just purely off of the Instagram. Let's sponsor something. So she came to me and said, come up with something that you want to do. So we did a contest online, a local giveaway in Atlanta where a girl got a makeover using the products. I tied in my personal hairstylist, who's still my hairstylist to this day. Yeah, and it just worked out. And so from there, I think once other brands saw that, oh, this page is not just like this fun page, but they're doing brand partnerships, the calls started coming in. Like Cream of Nature, I was featured in a campaign with them. I mean, countless brands, especially black hair care brands, they just started
saw
calling.
The market.
Yeah, so a lot of it was more so a learning curve on my end to figure out how I wanted to show up in these spaces, because obviously influencers still are a heavy, market. And so they had to figure out how to handle me, and I had to figure out how I wanted to be handled. So for instance, coming in the door, they're like, oh, so you have a beauty page, like, let's pay you to do your hair on screen. And, it's like, I'm not that influencer. Like, I'm not the
that
girl that's
talent,
going to
yeah.
be like, let me record myself doing my hair and makeup. I will hire somebody to do my hair and makeup. And listen, kudos to the girls that have the talent to do it, but that just wasn't me. I'm
Yeah.
a former PR girl. I'm more business focused. I'm more in like the founder bag. So it took, several conversations. I feel like each brand I worked with, they still ended up working with me, but they had to figure out like how to work with me. And then they would end up getting creative, like shout out Sakita Holly. I'm sure you know.
Sakita.
That's one of my favorite PR booths.
She's doing a thing.
Yes, no, I love Sakita. She gave me my first like major red carpet hosting opportunity. I don't want to call out brands because I don't want to mess it up. But yeah, so I think it was African Pride. And then I worked with Cream of Nature Soul Train Awards. I hosted red carpet twice for those brands. And so I was able to see, okay, I guess because I was behind the scenes watching so many clients in my PR days do interviews on TV, radio, like countless, mediums, I kind of was in school and didn't know it. It was like a master class. So when I got opportunities to come in front of the camera, I realized the talent that I didn't even know I had, or I was able to eloquently speak. I could be off the cuff. I could be entertaining. And I'm like, oh, there's something here. And so it opened up. It was just a huge learning curve during that time to know like how I even wanted to show up. And honestly still is, because I've had to navigate like, having so much shared content, having this huge network of stylists and inspiration. Brands are still like in that space of like, okay, I know how to partner with this particular girl and the page is all about her. And I know she has curly hair. And so we're going to give her the curly hair products for her to do her makeover and sell these products. But for me, it's like, okay, how do I want to show up? And I'm learning that more and more. I'm sure we can get into it, but I'm learning more and more like how I think the Cut Life can continue to show up and benefit, but it's really just been a learning curve. But I have been blessed to have people come to me to want to partner, and I've had to pitch as well. Trust and believe. Everyone doesn't always get it, even when I think they should.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. We've had offline conversations, but I understand it because I think that people that are partnering with you have to understand how. And so I had to define that how. And I think even after 12 years and kind of being reactive, now I'm being more proactive and I understand like how I want to show up and what the future of the brand is for me.
You talked a little bit about coming from the PR industry, being behind the scenes, and then now you're in front of the camera. I want to talk to you about your PR work.
Yes.
We did offline a little bit. We have similar experiences. We both started not knowing what the hell we were doing.
Right.
And have rightfully in our own, lanes done our thing. Talk to me a little bit about how long you did PR, what that was like.
I love talking about the PR days because I won't lie, I had fun. My journey started, I went to Georgia State University. Go Panthers. Gotta shout that out. But I started as an intern, very traditional, interned in radio, Hot 107.9 in Atlanta.
Okay.
I interned with Little John's record label, BME Recordings, at the height of the crunk movement. I'm probably aging myself, but we own it. I don't even care. But yes, so I saw artists like Little Scrappy and Crime Mob and Trillville come in. Birthday Bash is a huge concert, like a summer jam for Atlanta. And they needed a publicist for it. My friend LaToya Dixon, who's the promotions director at the time, gave me a shot. And it was like the best shot of my life because being in that arena, which was Phillips Arena at the time, now State Farm Arena, every media outlet in the city wants to cover Birthday Bash. So I had a chance to basically meet everyone in the city at one time. And so things kind of picked up quickly where you start getting known as that PR music girl. You start becoming the plug when it comes to events. Another pivotal moment was during Hurricane Katrina. There was a huge Heal the Hood concert. So many artists donated their time to perform. Again, another huge media play.
Yeah.
And so I was just like building these relationships and kind of navigating how to push through that. I always have to say that Ludacris is my absolute favorite to work with.
Aww.
I always have to give him his flowers. I've done like 7 Luda Day weekends with him.
Oh, wow.
He's a client that's not on time. He's early, just super
We love that.
personable. Yes, he's great. And the success that he has is not by accident. He works really hard. And so I had like a super positive experience with him. He's actually, I don't even know if he remembers this, but he's one of the people that really pushed me to spend my energy on the cut life. I think at that time, I had maybe 100,000 or so followers, and I was still doing PR. It was Luda Day weekend, or at a radio station, and I'm like, let me just show Chris the page. No, I actually wasn't even showing him. I was showing Miss Shanika, who's a radio personality on Streets 94.5. You know, I shout out my people. But anyway, I was showing her the page, and she was like, I love the cut life. It's so dope. Da, 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 da.
And he's being nosy, like, what is that?
Ear hustler. So what is this? And I'm like, oh, I started this hair page. And he was like, it has 100,000 followers. I'm like, yeah. He's like, so there's no like celebrity pushing this, like it's just you and organic like following. I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, you have to do something with that. And it just stuck with me.
Wow.
It just stuck with me. He was like, yeah, that's something, because he knows the power of influence. And so I always credit him. But I've worked with like Young Jock, Gorilla Zoe, the whole Block Entertainment crew. I think I will say, because in light of some of the stories we hear now about the industry in years past and situations that, you know, women and even men have been in that may have been compromising, I was blessed to not have those situations. Every internship I had like big brothers that will always look out for me and kept me protected. So like Orlando McGee, that was head of marketing at BME Recordings at the time. Motown Lee, who was managing 8 Ball and MJG. I was his assistant at one point in time.
I love that.
And they just always kept me protected. Shaka Zulu, who manages Ludacris. And then I've also worked with a lot of great women in the industry that are behind some of these men, like Aisha Obafemi, who manages me, who's also Shaka Zulu and Jeff Dixon's sister. And they all manage Ludacris. So, you know, I've had like really great influences. And I think like having that tribe.
Wait, Aisha.
Yeah, Aisha Obafemi.
She also, sorry. She also works with Tupac's sister?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I remember her. Such a way, yeah.
Yes, yep,
okay.
yep. It's all
yes,
connected.
That's why I was like, wait.
Yeah, that's what I love about Atlanta. I always have to say that when it comes to the industry specifically, like the music and entertainment industry has been good to me here. And it's very much like a family. Even if you don't work for people directly, people will still speak your name in rooms and support each other. Even when I exited the PR game, people will still invite me to stuff that they have going on. And so, yeah, my experience overall was positive in regards to the people that I work with. Yeah.
But you said you felt burnt out.
Yeah, so I did get to a point where, you know, the PR life is a hustle, and there is a difference between having your own business versus working for a major agency or even working for like a record label in-house. A lot of times I am the addition to the team. So they may have the label publicist or the agency that's working with them, but I'm the extra check that they have to give, and you got to really work for that check. You know, they
don't be wanting to give that check up.
No, they don't want to give that check up. They want to see results. Sometimes, you know, it's a lot of grow with me, help me, you know, and I've had like, you know, both ends of the spectrum, but I knew it just wasn't sustainable long term. And then also, you know, wanting a different work-life balance. Sometimes you can feel like you're chasing behind people, and that can get a little overwhelming. And so I've always loved like building brands, but it was just doing it in a different way for me. So I feel like now I kind of get to do it for so many people and not be overwhelmed by it.
I love that.
Yeah.
So do you feel like your PR experience and like a lot of the skills that you picked up during your time in that industry were transferable to how you've been able to grow the cut life?
100,000%. I think that it definitely gave me an advantage because And this is no shade. And no, people say no shade, and then the shade comes.
Then it comes.
And it's just like, the shade is immediately following. But no, I just had a different experience. Like, I didn't start with someone that was just, at home, put up a camera, and, started doing my makeup and hair online, and then built a following. I had, like, life experience working in a whole other industry with a certain set of skills, as Liam Neeson would say, like a certain set of skills. So even when it comes down to being able to have conversations with brand partners and knowing like what deliverables and the scope of work, like what that even means, like how to show up in these conversations and in these spaces, how to execute properly, how to negotiate for what I want, and deserve, like a lot of these skills. I mean, just even like copy, like you're talking about captions. Something as simple as a caption can drive engagement or decrease your engagement. Like knowing how to communicate to your audience, like what is your audience, what is the voice of the audience or voice of the brands, and how does that translate to the audience? So all those things were PR skills. I mean, planning countless events, dealing with sponsors for events. Now I'm just able to translate that from multiple clients to my own brand. But I think that the sustainability of the platform wouldn't be what it was if I didn't have that experience.
Speaking of copy and caption writing, with the uptick of like AI being like a mainstay in our day-to-day, especially in the digital space, one, are you utilizing AI at all to help create content across these various platforms that you have? But also, do you feel like, I'd love your insight on like your thoughts on how it's going to impact the industry, PR, digital marketing, just moving forward?
Yeah, I think with technology and the advancements, any tool has two sides to it. It can be helpful to push your business and brand forward, but then you also don't want to necessarily get too obsessed and use it as a crutch either, where you're not thinking for yourself, because you still need creative minds, and AI can only duplicate so much of the human mind and your perspectives. But do I use it? I actually have started using some of it in my day-to-day, but it'll be more so, like, say for my newsletter, I use Mailchimp. They need to give me a check for this. Mailchimp.
You like Mailchimp, though?
I mean, I'm open to options, but, if they want to pay me for my subscription that I'm paying for every month, that's cool, too. But within there, they have, like, AI-generated newsletters where they can kind of craft it to look like your brand. Yes.
Really?
Yes, they'll completely go in there and design it, and then it'll let the audience know. So if they get a newsletter from me, it's still my copy, but I can say, oh, I want it to sound more exciting, or I want it to push sales, or I want it to do what have you, and it'll edit that for me, and then the look of it also, and then it'll let the audience know when they get the email there is AI-generated content included in this email, which I appreciate because transparency is important to me. When it comes to my captions, though, that's all me, okay? That is my wit, my energy. Like, listen, I'm not going into ChatGPT like, how can I talk like a black girl? Like, no, we are not.
People do it, though.
Yes, we're, every day. I heard people are writing full scripts in there, which is a whole other story, but no, I think you can use it, like even ChatGPT. I'll use that as a guide, because say if I'm stuck on a question and I don't have an associate that I can immediately call, like maybe Dreena has like 20 client meetings today and I need this question answered like now. So I might really specifically put in like, oh, this is the direction I'm thinking for this particular pitch, and it might give me feedback to maybe guide some of my thinking, but not necessarily like copy paste, send. And so I think it is helpful in that way. I think the way that it kind of scares me is when it comes to like entertainment spaces and
did you see that video?
And I don't know.
Yeah, did you see that video that was AI generated where it was LeBron James responding to Stephen A. Smith, and it wasn't really him?
I did not see it, but I heard about their beef.
Well, there's an AI generated video of LeBron responding to Stephen A. Smith. It looks just like him. It's scary.
Yeah, and I think that, we don't know behind the scenes how long it's been developing. And so for it to be really close to accurate now, imagine how much more advanced it's going to be. And that could be very dangerous in the wrong hands. And so that does concern me. And I think, though, as long as transparency is there, there has to be something, even when people are posting content and using it, I need to see AI generated on there, because I think it's a fair ask to know. But listen, time will tell.
Yeah,
Time will
especially in
tell.
these times.
Yes.
I want to talk a little bit about the growth of the Cut Life, and just because it's a platform that stylists, salons, even individual like influencers that are clamoring to get featured on the page. Talk to me about how you were able to build that demand. There are times I'll go to you and be like, do you know a stylist who works at da-da-da? And you're like, oh yeah, I know so-and-so.
Yeah.
How you been able to build up your stylist network or directory, I want to say. And then just what's the process for a salon or individual stylist that is a fan of the page, has grown with you over these last 12 years? Like, how can I get featured on the site?
Yes. So when it comes to the Cut Life, when I first started, it was purely about the hair inspiration. To be honest, you would think I was going into it thinking about the stylist, but I initially wasn't.
Yeah,
I'll
you
be
said that,
honest.
yeah.
It was just like, oh, she looks fly. But naturally, because it was a lot of shared content and I want to give credit where it's due, I would just tag the stylist, especially if I was able to find who did the look. So that could be a salon stylist, it could be a celebrity stylist. But because of that, I didn't realize the power in the platform and people saying like, this exposure has really done something for my business. I've had salon owners and stylists tell me, I used to welcome walk-ins, now I'm appointment only because of your posts.
Wow.
And people coming and the demand has grown. And it's like, I see
I'm
the
like,
emotion.
how does that feel?
And it's giving me a little
That's
emotional.
impactful.
Like, yeah, no, it is. And I think that...
Because this was something that you just did for fun.
Exactly. And I think that those reminders, when I feel maybe frustrated or trying to like get to the next level in the business, and sometimes you're like, should I still be doing this? Those are the things that really push me forward. And I'm like, okay, it's bigger than me, and it's really helping a lot of entrepreneurs, because they're creatives, they're artists, they're professionals and entrepreneurs that look like us to have these opportunities. So that's like the cherry on top, like for real. And so, tapping into the stylist. So there's certain content that I might post randomly, just because I like it and I think it does well on the feed, but that does attract stylists that want to advertise. And so they can listen. I'm not one of those that's like, if you're not eating, don't DM me. If you're not emailing, I'm like, no, if you got some money to advertise, you can DM, you can email info@thecutlife.com. If you got a bird call, you can, bird call, whatever you want to do. I am not mad at it. But no, seriously, but I am conscious of vetting who I post on there.
Okay.
And I think people appreciate that, because they know when they come to the Cut Life, there's a certain level of quality and curation, that's behind it. So you can request to advertise, but I will still ask you to send me your socials, and I review it myself to make sure that the work is going to be something that is going to be enticing to the viewer, because I want it to be beneficial not only to me, but to you as well. I don't want you to be on my platform and get like negative comments or, get attacked, and then it's not helpful for your business at all. You've got an exposure that's negative. And I will offer feedback. Like, I'll ask them if they want it. Like, sometimes I'll let them know. Now, there's certain things, like sometimes the work is good, but maybe it's just the quality, like you need to just clean off your iPhone, it's a little blurry. Maybe it's like, hey, you should get these transitions a little quicker, lighting, tips like that.
Are you giving that for free? You giving that information for free?
Well, it just depends. Not to everyone, but it depends. If I see that there's potential, but I feel like the content is not up to par to post on the page, then I'll give that feedback, because I'm like, hey, I want them to fix it and come back and advertise, and that's happened. But then there's also situations that I can't control, and if the work level based on my eye, now this is opinion based, that's another thing. I'm not a professional hairstylist, but clearly I have a good eye, and 1.5 million on Instagram agree. They agree with my eye. So if I don't feel like it's going to be a fit, and it's more of, okay, this is just their work and their point of view, but it doesn't necessarily match with mine, then I'll refuse the opportunity to advertise. And, you know, it just is what it is, but I try to look at the consumer, the supporters, I don't like to say followers, but the supporters of the platform and the community and what they're really into. And so I take that into consideration.
With the growth of social media, and I'm sure there's been like pages that have tried to emulate the cut life.
There's a couple copycats out there that have likes that steal all my posts.
But you know what? That's how you know you're doing it, right?
You know, imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Exactly. What would you say is the most contributing factor to the success? Like, how do you find like when this moment's like that? Because I know you were probably like, all right, I'm tired of this. I want to wrap it up. What has been like the driving force behind it? Let me keep going.
The one word, community. That's it. Because, you know, algorithms have affected not just affected me too. Even at 1.5, certain things might not, you know, engage as high. Or then it's like one day this post got 100,000 likes, and then the next day it's like 1,000. And so it's like if you get caught up in like those numbers and all that, then you can get frustrated at times. But community is really what keeps me going, because people really are fans of the cut life. Like, I will get DMs like, oh, I screenshot this look and sent it to my stylist. And they're like tagging, girls are doing their mirror selfies, tagging me, and I'm happily reposting in the story like, go girl, you look cute. And so it's the community. I think that's the driving force behind it, and people feel that. They know that the cut life is a safe space. I've even had celebrities, like I ran into Monica at an event, Black Excellence Brunch in Atlanta, and just, you know, said hey to her, and she was just like, you know, I love the cut life. I know that when my content is there, that it's a safe space, it's positive, and we don't necessarily have a lot of outlets like that online. A lot of it is gossip centered and,
that's true, though,
you know, negative. And so she was just like thanking me in that moment for maintaining the integrity of it. And, you know, it just all relates back to the community and how I want to show up in the community.
Do you feel like the cut life is... how do I phrase this? Do you feel like the cut life is like the new...
Let's get down to it, girl.
Like, are y'all like the new hype hair? And you remember...
The mic is hot.
You remember... But you remember that, what we used to have growing up.
And I feel... Sophisticates, hype hair.
I feel
and
like
hype hair, we actually follow each other on Instagram. So, yeah. So, I do.
But they're not as big as they were when we were growing up, right? And I feel like, you know... a lot of the, Gen Zers, younger millennials, they don't even know about those magazines.
Right.
And like they're historical in terms of Black culture. So do you feel like the cut life is the next iteration of that?
Yeah, you know, I do. I feel like we're a blend of a few things. It's like we offer that nostalgia of a hype hair or a black hair Sophisticates, but then I also look at, you know, these outlets like Vogue or Harper's Bazaar or Allure, and that's like, to me, the next step for me in getting into those spaces as media, where you can come on the cut life and really see us behind the scenes with Tiana Taylor getting ready for the Met Gala. And it's focusing on showing not just her, but these beauty professionals of color or even diverse backgrounds that are creating these looks that don't often get the shine on other platforms. I've had Ursula Stevens say, we need the cut life on the red carpet so that we can get, you know, promote the looks that we've created, because a lot of times the credit there is missed. And so I definitely feel that, and I'm like one of those, like a 90s era lover when it comes to the music, when it comes to the fits, when it comes to everything. And so I think a lot of that shines through the platform. So it does give people that feeling of those magazines that we love, and that I would still want to see amplified. You know what I mean? And maybe even partner with one day, because I think that's still important. And that's how I grew up in the salon. I was literally sitting in the chair, waiting, flipping through those magazines.
Folding in a little corner.
Like, okay, I'm going to tell her I want this one. Let me get this French roll with the tuck and the swoop, and you know, so it's a part of our culture, and they always should be celebrated. And that's sometimes, like, when we talked about the pros and cons of, like, the digital age and technology, you know, we lose those things. Like, I was just thinking about Honey Magazine or even Suede, like some of the OGs.
I love those
that people,
magazines.
you know.
I miss them because we don't really have that mix of publications that cater to us anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if like editorial in that sense is necessarily like the direction
I can
for
see
me.
it though.
I mean,
and I love
I've been
that for you.
I've
And
been
I think you should do
told
it.
maybe a quarterly,
Okay.
maybe a quarterly Suede type vibe.
Okay,
Like let's put a lot
okay.
in one. Let's get some funding. Anyone listening?
You can get
let's
it.
get some funding.
What's your deck look like?
You
Let's
know,
look at the
listen,
sponsorship
I'm
deck.
going to talk to Dreena offline so we can go ahead and
I'll
secure
help
this
you
bag
out.
together. Yes, no, for sure. And, you know, at least for now, my focus is like amplifying unique content across social media, because a lot of it has been shared content over the years, which has been great to build the platform.
Yeah.
But to get to the next level, people have to really see more of the Cut Life's POV and see more of the relationships. Like I'm looking, and sometimes I'm like, okay, Gabrielle Union is following, Nia Long is following, Savannah James is following, and it's like people don't even realize that that's going on, and it's like I need to bring this to the forefront so they can really see like what the Cut Life is giving. It's almost like a hidden gem for 1.5 million
For
people.
real.
I mean,
That's ridiculous though.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna talk, because I was like just thinking now, like even like the COVID tour, like remember how they used to do Inner Closet? It was very focused on beauty, lifestyle, fashion. I feel like
Well, let's have a podcast case study right now.
you can do
let's
that.
brainstorm.
And the Met Gala's like theme this year. You should definitely be on that carpet.
Listen.
Yeah,
Like,
you should definitely be on
I need
that.
to call Kayla Walker. Like,
Yeah.
Kayla is the Met Gala girl. We love her. If you know, you know.
Yes.
Look up Kayla Walker. That's my girl. But yeah, no, seriously. And I think that the time is coming. I'm a person that understands that, you know, the time preparation meets opportunity. So it's all going to align.
That's you and your PR bag, because that's what I explain all the time. It's all about timing, opportunity. Yes.
And then, listen, they're looking and lurking. Trust. Like a lot of these major media outlets, they're familiar. They see what's going on. And they're kind of like probably waiting to see what's going to happen. But I'm all about collaboration, not really competition, so to speak. And I'm very heavily focused on my lane. I'm one of those people that preaches niche, because it just helps me stay focused on my goal. It's like, okay, if I know like hair and beauty is my thing, then I can partner with like Claire Somers at Fashion Bomb Daily, because fashion is her thing.
Yeah.
Now I might tag like Quinta Brunson at the SAG Awards and list who her wardrobe stylist is, but am I digging deep into who the designer is and all of that? Not necessarily. And a part of that is kind of out of respect, to be honest. I've never said that publicly, but I'm conscious of other people that I have relationships with that are in the same space. So I'm like, I'm not really trying to step on Claire's toes.
I
and she's
love
not
that, because
stepping on
everybody
mine.
don't do that. Everybody don't do that.
It's like, it's more of like, let's have camaraderie. She's also a fellow Atlantan, for those who don't know. And I've even featured Claire when she's gotten her pixie cut and, bob looks. And she's advertised with me for her personal brand and looks. So people don't even know things like that behind the scenes. But I like to shout people out that are really like girls and supportive and really want to see each other win. And so, I'm excited about the future.
Quick question. As you were growing the brand, right, once you come up with the concept and then like you're seeing there's some momentum behind it, and you're like, should I broaden my market to touch other audiences that I wasn't solely focused on initially? Because you might be able to increase your bag, you might be able to increase your influence. Have you ever thought about that?
I did slightly, like prior to this recent election. I was like, oh, put women of color, try to be safe and open up. And then, I'll be quite frank, after this election and then we roll into this DEI stuff and everything that's going on, and there's differing opinions. I'm not going to get into all of that. But I was like, you know what? I just feel like standing on business. This is a platform that celebrates Black hair and beauty. Now, mind you, there are professionals behind the scenes of diverse backgrounds that are well versed in Black hair.
Yeah.
I featured Halle Berry's stylist, and she's a white woman, wardrobe, hair, you know what I mean? Like, so I featured people that are allies, but for sure, I'm like, no, I want you to know what you're looking at when you come to this page.
I love that.
And I feel like I just didn't want to compromise to play it safe to get a bag. It's like, you need to know where you're investing. Hopefully I made it easier for you. because they have their deliverables. They know what demos they're going after.
Yeah.
And we spend, especially in beauty, Black women spend the most money in beauty than any other demo.
That's
so
crazy.
why not say, hey, this is where the Black girls
Yeah.
are at.
Yeah.
Come over
Yeah.
here. So yeah, I'm 10 toes down.
Yeah, because I think that's something I struggled with too over the years. Like, just trying to figure out, should I not say like we're culture champions or like we're for like Black, like standing 10 toes down. And ultimately it always came back to like, girl,
Yeah.
no, this is where you live. This is who you are. This is what you love. So why not?
And quite frank, they love the vibes over
They
here.
do.
Okay?
They
They want us
do.
to come up, show up in our fits, in our hair.
They do.
And, talking that talk and
'Cause
the
they
swag.
happy.
We're the trendsetters.
Yep.
They love it. They live for us. So why not?
They live for us.
I mean, I'm just saying. They live. They live. They might want to admit it, but they live for us. Like
That's
we
real.
are the drivers of culture. So why not let them know like this? And I want people to know that it's a safe space, and you're welcome to come and support, and I'll show love. But yeah, you're gonna see some Black hair up in here. We're gonna have some Black captions and Black
Blackity black
conversations.
black.
It's gonna be blickety black. Okay, like come on, Issa.
I'm
I'll
rooting
work
for
with her
everybody
too.
Black.
Okay, listen.
So what's next for the Cut Life?
Whew, so what's next is definitely getting our directory relaunched.
Okay.
I've had a couple of iterations of it, but I'm working with my girl Ashley Champ behind the scenes.
Hey, Ashley.
Yes, Ashley is great. She works in the brand space. She has a brand called Tunnel.
We know.
Yes, but anywho, like we're working together to get the directory relaunched. I'm still trying to figure out like, cause it's that one side of it is the curated side, because I know when people come to the Cut Life, they're like, I know y'all know the stylists that are popping.
Yeah.
And then there's the monetization side where it's like, should everybody be able to subscribe to this directory? And then you figure out if that person is right for you. So still figuring out like what that means, what that's gonna look like. But ultimately it has to feel good to me. I'll figure out like what decision. So that's one end. 10xing the unique content, showing up as media partners in different spaces and places, even putting myself out there more as the founder so people can know who's behind the brand. I recently launched Ask the Expert on YouTube Live every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So I have stylists and brand founders on there talking about a variety of subjects, from how to work in TV and film, how to launch a brand, how to retain green flag clients, like all sorts of things. Yeah. With the Cut Life Studio, I definitely would love to get behind producing unique projects, whether it's documentaries. It doesn't necessarily have to be related to the beauty space, but probably adjacent, at least beauty and entertainment, and getting more into like the TV and film space. That's one of the loves that I had initially, even before working in the music industry. It's just the music industry grabbed me first. So I would love to circle back to that and figure out how I could use this platform to like, listen, because these TV and film clients, they want somewhere to promote these projects. So it's like, let's get into a bag together and figure out how to create some projects moving forward. So yeah, digital media platform, celebrating Black hair and beauty.
The possibilities are
Standing
endless.
on being the authority, Oh, and then personally, I would love to show up more as a beauty expert, host, and commentator. Whether it's guesting on daytime TV or hitting red carpets.
You better hit up your producer contacts that you know.
Yes. And then even having my own regular series on YouTube. I mean, hey,
I'm here for it.
You gotta use your platforms. So.
I'm here for it. For the creator that is hoping to build a similar platform, or just like in terms of the impact that you've had on your specific industry, for the creator that's looking to do something similar in their own lane, what's one piece of advice you would give them?
I would say go after something that you're interested in and actually passionate about, and not just what you think will make money, because you'll get burnt out, because it's a long game that's to be played. And just because you have a lot of followers doesn't mean you're out here like taking like money baths, you know what I mean? It's still a grind. It's still, consistency and dedication. So I'm like, don't just randomly pick something because you're like, oh, well, she's successful, so let me do something
Yeah.
like that. No, what do you have? Because there's an audience for everything, literally everything. You could just love hamburgers and post about going to every hamburger spot in the country, seriously, and have every hamburger imaginable and rate them and view them, and you might have 10 million followers looking at you eating hamburgers. So you have to like really, really be passionate about it. I always say niche down, be specific about what your brand is, who your audience is, who you're speaking to.
Yeah.
Are you solving a problem? Like, I didn't initially know I was solving a problem, but I think it's had its longevity because I'm able to help you find a stylist. I'm able to help inspire you for your next look.
style.
So what are you actually giving, and not just worrying about what you're getting? Yeah.
Everyone always sees like the highlight reels and the success at the end of, you know, especially in this new digital world, people like to show that, right? No one really talks about the bumps along the journey to get to that place. What's something that you look back on now that was like a bumpy moment for you in your journey that has really contributed to the success of the Cut Life and where you are today? Because the fact that this was like something you started for fun and now this is your full-time, you know, opportunity and role, I'm sure you've hit some roadblocks and bumps along that journey.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you have a brand that happens to you versus a brand that you kind of plan for, it's like you're catching up to creating strategy.
Yeah.
So you're going to make mistakes. And I've had situations where I'm like, maybe I should start this membership group. Failed, nobody cared. And again, I go back to that. Just because you have a lot of followers doesn't mean people are going to buy into everything that you do. You have to figure out what they're really interested in. How are they engaging with you? Definitely business partnerships. Going back to my PR days, partnering with people maybe prematurely. And I tend to be a very like open, welcoming, warm person. And so sometimes bringing people in and elevating their position sooner than I should have.
Girl.
And learning. Oh, not you looked at the notes in that. Did it hit you in your spirit? What does Country Wayne say? It's sizzled in your spirit. It's sizzled in your spirit. Yeah, so I had to learn a lot about that. And, you know, nobody likes how a failure feels in the moment, but it's really not a fail. It's like a lesson. You just learn from it and keep growing. Financially, like making sure you're saving your money, planning for retirement. And I would say start earlier. Like I would start thinking about it in my 30s, but I'm like, listen, especially with so many people getting into the content creator space and potentially making a lot of money quickly, like save for a rainy day, save for when these platforms may disappear. I mean, you just never know. Also, diversifying your content. Like I spent a lot of time on Instagram, and now it's like I have a good following on like YouTube and other platforms, but I'm like, man, if I was really dedicated to making sure those spaces were active, I could have 1 million on all the platforms now. And so I would say diversifying your content, really finding like where your audience is. It doesn't have to be necessarily completely different content, but maybe different edits and interpretations of that content on different platforms. Because TikTok, they don't vibe the same way as YouTube does. YouTube doesn't vibe the same way as Instagram does. So like learning how social media works if you want to get into this space for sure. But yeah, it's been a lot of, it's been lessons and blessings, okay?
Come on, every lesson is a blessing at the end of the day. Any last words of advice or anything that you want to share for our listeners and viewers that are fans of the Cut Life, you know, no, you say supporters of the Cut Life and Tahira Joy Wright?
Listen, just stay the course.
Stay the course.
Stay the course. I mean, I'll keep it really simple. You're going to be hit with a lot, especially as an entrepreneur in any space. There's always going to be challenges. Personally, you know, keeping God first, keeping my faith in check, because that guides my decisions. It guides how I react to disappointments and how I bounce back.
We didn't even go into all of that. Okay.
Listen, you know, Jesus is the reason for the season, okay? Yeah, I would say that, and just not be afraid to pivot. I've pivoted a few times in my career, like we said, PR to, I don't even know what to call myself now. I'm like founder of the Cut Life, and they're like, okay, what do you do? I'm like content creator some days, influencer other days,
thought leader, entrepreneur.
It's you know, it's a whole bag of things. But, just being open to the pivots, because they will happen. And it doesn't necessarily mean leaving what you're doing for something else in the way that I did. But I mean, even within my business, I'm pivoting and having to redirect. So being open to that flow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So now we're going to do our quick fire questions.
I'm ready.
I just want you to say the first thing that comes
But
to
you gonna ask me,
mind.
do you have a boo? Yes or no? And I gotta answer it real fast.
So we're not doing all. I'm not doing all that.
You gotta think about it in case someone looks at this. What's the answer?
Okay, so what's your favorite app that you use daily other than Instagram?
YouTube. I love YouTube.
Okay.
YouTube Shorts specifically is the vibe. And that's the cheat code. If you don't have long form content on there and you're trying to increase your subscribers, because you have to get to 1,000 subscribers to monetize, repurpose Reels and TikToks and put them on Shorts. Your engagement will go up and you can get to that 1,000 subscribers pretty fast.
Okay, that wasn't a quick fire answer, but okay, I'm gonna take that
I'm
tip.
just saying,
and I'm sure the people will appreciate
get the
it.
gems. This is free consultation here. I should be charging. Link in bio to
What's your all-time favorite short hairstyle?
Ooh, okay. So let's give it to anything Rihanna. Like, that's the quick fire. All of my cuts have been inspired by her.
Okay.
Period. She's the muse for the cut life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh, yes.
I'm saying that everywhere because Rihanna and I and Fancy Hair, Ursula, we're gonna collab.
I know that's right. Met Gala.
Yes.
What's a must-have tool for anyone with short hair?
Oh, you definitely need some good Nairobi foam mousse to mold, because the mold is the important part of the cut.
Okay.
Everything else fails if the mold is not right. You got to mold that thing down, put those strips on, sit under the dryer. If that's not right, girl, that cut is going to be...
It's not going to be right.
Nah, it's not going to give.
Any words of wisdom or mantra that's always in your back pocket?
Ooh, that's always in my back pocket. And this is supposed to be a quick fire. Faith without works is dead.
There you go.
That's it.
Mic drop, period.
Yes.
Well, Tahira, thank you so much for joining me today. I truly, truly appreciate it. As I shared, I'm always here to help support and amplify you and your work. So looking forward to seeing what's next for you.
Thank you, Dreena. You my boo. We in here. I appreciate it.
I wanna know, how did you get here? What was the road? Tell me a story I wanna hear. I see you shining